Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to some Final Fantasy TCG Legal Light action. We have got Shivan4RR going up against AceRacerFF. AceRacerFF. All right. It should be quite exciting. I was specifically asked to cast this match by request because supposedly we might be seeing some Paul action here, but not to start off. First, we're starting with Unai. We're going to go ahead and get rid of... Shivan's going to get rid of an Echo, a Belias, and another copy of Unai to get our Unai now. So already we've got three colors. We've got Fire, Wind, and Ice. I'm curious to see which one's going to go. So supposedly there's going to be a Paul match here. I'm not sure which one is the Paul. Okay, so we're seeing Water, Lightning on AceRacerFF's side. So it's got to be Shivan's the Paul gamer, right? I mean, I saw the Wind at least in the Belias. But obviously we didn't have turn one Paul, so Sarah's going to go ahead and get us Princess Sarah, our classic combo. Pitch Terra and a Cecil. Maybe this isn't the Paul match I was led to believe. There's Tyro. Well, we'll see. We'll see if Paul's going to come down here. A lot of multicolor. So 4 colors already. My goodness. There's Paul. Here he is, folks. Dread it. Run from it. Paul still arrives. Oh, man, this is going to be exciting. Okay, but Ace Race does know it's coming. They can see it, so we're going to see what they're going to do. So we can just curve right into that. Sarah, if we want, if we've got some other things in our deck, I mean, here's the problem with Paul, right? He's very tiny, so he's going to be very easy to deal with. However, he can't be blocked by a forward of cost 3 or more. So unless Ace Race has a very... It just has a 2 cost to put down. Really, they don't even have to be that bad. We know they saw the Porum earlier, right? We threw out a Porum, yeah. Really, Porum wouldn't be terrible because we'd block and we'd keep that Paul from doing anything. Ooh, Mannequins. How exciting. Well, we know Mannequins certainly has a lot of small forwards in there, so... We got the Delusory Warlock, and interesting, he didn't go for the, what is it called, the Lady of Antiquity, the Mannequin backup? Nope. Well, why do that when we can put out the Delusory Warlock, and we're going to search out, or no, Delusory Knight, search out another Delusory Warlock. So this is interesting. It's almost like a weird Knight. Here's some Tactics characters, some Knight mix. Now, if he drops Paul and he has a way to give him haste, this Knight isn't going to do anything to stop that. Is it Paul time? Bom, bom, bom! Behold, Paul is here. Now, he didn't have a way to give him haste, so that's good. Mannequin Man will get another chance to try to set up or deal with this. That Famfrit could have gotten rid of him. I don't know what other... Or, maybe he's just fine to curve out his backups and take a few hits from Paul, but... Okay, look at that. Look at that Paul flexing. He's like, yeah, you like that? Nobody's going to block me. Nobody blocks Paul. Not nobody, not no how. I don't know why I, became... the guy from The Wizard of Oz, the doorman, who, they're like, we want to see the wizard. It's like, not nobody gets to see the wizard. Not nobody, not know how. That's Paul now, apparently. All right, we are just doing a combo theme here. Played another Delusory Warlock to get another Delusory Knight. So is this Mannequins, or is this just kind of backup searching? So, because we got our Princess Sarah down, she's going to become water as well. So we've got 2 lightning, 2 water. Yeah, I wonder if this is really Mannequins or... These are legit just in here as 2 combo water lightning pieces to help ramp out our backups. That's pretty nice. So we hit a Vermilion Birdless CK2. Wow, I haven't seen this card used at all yet. This is very interesting. Like the Paul I get, but I kind of just thought the deck would be centered around Paul, but kind of seems like it's got a lot of things in there. Here comes that first Paul hit. Ace taking one, boom, right on the Gipper. Ramza can get a card back if there's other than Ramza. Oh, I don't think there is... It's a category FFTCG. No, and this Rams is the only one we've gotten there right now, so that's a whiff on a burst. You know what that means. That's 5 cards into the break zone. What did we put in there? Oh my goodness, look at these summons. That Porum would have been nice. That would have stopped that Paul hit. A Cuchulainn, 2 Exodus, a Porum, and it looks like a Delusory Knight. Yikes. That is not what we wanted, folks. That's a lot of summons. So we've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 summons in the break zone. 2 Porums in here already as well. All right, Paul started his rampage. Is Shivan going to do anything else or just stop there? He's got 2 backups up still, so he absolutely... No, he's more than content to pass. Says, hey, if you want to play the long game, I'm going to come out ahead. So Ace, we set up these backups. I like this use of the Knight and the Warlock in order to get this quick sculpt. So what are we going to do with it now? And Ace is going to go right in for an attack with our Delusionary Knight, and Shivan will hit a useful burst. That is a Porum. We're going to get back that Belias. Luckily, Paul's already on the field, but hey, it can't hurt to have another card in hand. Now we've got Beatrix. Okay, interesting. So now we're going to get our Knight engine ramped up. Tap 2. Are we using Beatrix's effect? Man, do we have an Ovalia here? We've got a Jegrin, which is going to let us search for Princess. So we've got some cool Water Lightning Princess power. It's really crazy to see this become so prominent in this opus, at least early in it, to see people really try. And there we go. We've got our Tactics Legend Ovalia. I haven't gotten to see this one used yet, so this is exciting. I'm curious to see what it does. So Beatrix can block Paul now. Granted, he does have that Belias in hand, so he can force Paul to trade and kill the Beatrix if he wants, but he will at least stop his deck from getting milled out. Unless, of course, we have a way to just scoot that Beatrix out, which we've got 8. Oh my goodness, we've got 8 cards in hand. 2 backups ready to go. We're not, color shouldn't be a problem. We can tap for anything. I mean, if we got any kind of summon, we can flicker, but we need a forward with an entry effect. Like a Cecil wouldn't help much now. There's no summons for Terra, so I'm interested. Okay, here comes the attack with Paul. Basically just going to bait out the Belias, say, hey, I'm going to take out your Beatrix at least. So, Ace, how much do you value that Beatrix? Do you want to keep her alive? Or are you okay losing, ultimately 6 cards off your deck because you're going to take the damage and then lose another 5? Yeah, got to defend with Beatrix here. Better to just bait that Belias out now. Yep, absolutely. And she'll flicker Paul. Hold on. Interesting. Why would he flicker Paul? Is this optional? No, it's mandatory. Interesting. Yeah, Paul should be dull here. So Paul... Okay, so I didn't, I never realized Unai was mandatory. I kind of assumed it was an optional. Like, you got to actually, but it is. It's when you cast a summon, choose one forward you control, remove from the game. So since Paul's the only forward he controls, he had to flicker him out there, which of course was pretty, and just stop the combat altogether, because basically the combat never proceeded. We're going to pitch another Tyro, Unai, and now we've just left ourselves wide open to take 3 shots of damage. Here comes Axstar. We're going to trigger the Porum. I guess get back that very Belias. Well, we've got Phoenix, too. We could get Phoenix. Although the only target I've seen is Porum, which isn't in the break zone right now. So, yeah, he'll get the Belias back. Surely he's going to have a way to cast it in hand. That's going to be a big 9k blocker. However, we got Beatrix and the Knights, so we can easily get some power bumps up here if we need to. So that was an interesting Paul play. I like... I wonder... Again, I haven't seen a whole lot of this deck yet, so I wonder what the synergy is with Unai in this deck. Obviously, like, Axstar would be very good with Unai, but that was not what we wanted, being forced to Belias our Paul, which then flickered it so it couldn't even resolve the ball. Yeah, that was just... that was a unfortunate set of circumstances there. All right, so we used the ability of Beatrix, reduce a Knight by 2, tapped a Warlock. Here we have Rain coming down. And we're moving to combat. I wonder if we're going to have a rain special here. Oh, man. As if he needed any more help. He already had Belias in hand. Now one's just going to come off of the top to say, yep, we'll just go ahead and make him a 9k first strike, which means we're going to need some undermine, some leadership here if we want to get over this Axstar, because right now he's just going to hold the fort and say, all right, well, that's where your turn ends. So Chevron's got it. And undermine or leadership would be great here. Otherwise, I think that's going to be the end of our attack phase. And yep, Ace says, all right, well, that's enough of that. Stops his attack phase right there. Goes ahead and passes. He only used 1 CP that turn, so hopefully he's got something fun in hand. Otherwise, he's on some dead cards. He doesn't have anything to do with them. Chevron is once again up to 8 cards in hand, courtesy of this Belias. So you've got to think he's got some things he can do, right? So this time we can punch with the Paul. He's going to block with Beatrix again, but now we can successfully hit the Belias. This time we can flicker the Axe Star, either get back a summon or trigger Belias again. That'll be pretty nice. We threw out a Belias. Interesting. Okay, so we threw out one. We got one in damage, so it's possible he still has his third one there. And he threw that out. Excuse me. Unless we've got, like, Porum coming down to try to get it back, or Terra, maybe? Very interesting he'd throw out the Belias. Looks like Shivan's going to his end phase. And he has too many cards in hand, 6, so we're going to need to discard down to 1. I'm so surprised he threw out the Belias. Like, I mean, you know, the whole game plan obviously is to push with Paul, but at the same time, perhaps he's worried about now that this rain is on board, it can freely attack next turn. We got to be careful. Our opponent could just rush out a bunch of hasters if we're not mindful. We are going to go ahead and play Citra. Okay, so Citra will let us get back Odin, not the Belias. And then we'll just leave our guys up as defense. This Paul got one of his hits in, but that Beatrix came down to put a quick stop to it, and then really kind of messed with our own math with that Unai Belias play. All right, we're going to use Beatrix's effect to make Dice Darg here, 1 CP. So when he's put from the field of the break zone, choose an active forward opponent controls, deal it 7,000 damage. Interesting. And then looks like we're going to tap 3 more. And what do we got? Are we paying for something, or we got another knight coming down? So also we got to remember too that does trigger Beatrix's auto ability. So all these knights are plus 2,000 right now. That's going to be pretty scary. We even discarded our own Exodus and our own Odin. What are we? We're playing something big. Oh my goodness, it's lightning. Lightning coming down. We're just going to remove these big bodies out of the way. I hope Shivan's got like an Amaterasu. Nope, doesn't look like it. Lightning's going to take these out of the way. It looks like she truly is the savior that her card says she is. And we're going to move to combat. Rain, of course, is going to swing first. That's another buff. So all of our forwards, right? Yep, all of our forwards are now plus 4,000 minus lightning. She's going to be plus 2. Shantoto into damage. That certainly would have been nice, but we are not going to live to see that. And Paul got shrunk by 2,000 as well, so he's only at 2,000 forward. This Tyro is going to be no use. Do we have nothing in hand, or are we just losing right here on the spot? There's an Odin, but I don't know it will. We stopped our last attacker. EX Odin, 6 points of damage. Just cut that poor mannequin Cecil in half. We have a way to give these guys haste. We've got Ovalia. We've got Rain. If we have either of those, but we've only got 2 cards left in hand. Oh, man. Odin, yep, Odin is going to put a stop to it. Very timely. I don't know if that's going to be enough, because we're still threatening all these big forwards coming at us next turn. We really would have liked to have seen that Shantoto. Shantoto here will be big. And if we have it, you feel like you just got to... I mean, you go in with the Paul first, mill him out, but then you just snap play that Shantoto, because otherwise Paul's days are numbered. Yeah, great counter here by AceRaceFF to... he says, you know, the Paul's scary when you've only got one person on board, like Jegrin, or that Delusory... what's the Cecil one called? Delusory Knight? Delusory Knight. And, you know, Paul's just going to keep scooting under him. You make this big board. It's like, go ahead, Paul can scoot under. I'll just swing back and knock you out. We pitched a K-Tuna, an Echo. Come on, let's tap 3. We got to... Nope. Oh, unless we're saving 2? Did we pull that Shantono? No, we did pull Dark Fina. Dark Fina enters the field. Select one of the 2 following actions. If you've received 5 points of damage, select both, which we have, so we're getting both effects. We can search for a summon and add it to our hand, and we can cast one summon of cost 7 or less from our hand without paying the cost. Well, we threw out the Odin, so I'm going to assume we've got another one in hand, right? Like, surely we didn't just pitch the very Odin we're going to use. And granted, we can go just search for one. Is there only one Odin missing? We have a Phoenix. Would a Phoenix be good here? A big 7 CP Phoenix? It's got to be 7 or less. Interesting. So what are we looking for here? I mean, another Odin, but what does that even do? We can break... I mean, I guess you could break the lightning. get Break Lightning, we'd get Citra, and who else did we remove? Citra and Axstar back. Going to get Diabolos. Interesting. Oh, my goodness. Oh, man. Now we're looking at some shenanigans. Okay, so we're going to cast Diabolos for free. Unai is then going to flicker Fina, which just allows us to go search for another summon and also cast it for free. Man, this is some cool summon stuff. I'm starting to get the idea now. Yep, Dark Fina resolves again. So Odin's going to break this lightning, which means we're going to get our Citra and our Axstar back to hand. I wonder what his other FF is. He just going to choose backups? Or maybe set a 2-cost to 1? I don't know if he'd have a way to ping it off. But if he did, in response to Unai. Okay, so what he says is, okay, so we're choosing to break lightning, activate backups, and then he's going to respond to his own Unai trigger, cast Kusith, get back Terra. Oh boy, this is getting complicated. Interesting. I wonder why we got the Terra. Oh, do we want to get the ping? So she'll get dulled. Fina will resolve again. Are we going to cast a second Diabolos? Because what we could do now is we'd have to get the Terra on the field first, right? Fishing out Pandemonium. I mean, it's board ping, which could be useful, but we'll target the Tyro. So it's board ping, but man, it kind of feels like a waste to use that Fina on just a 1-cost summon. Like we could have cast that by ourselves. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to cast the Pandemonium, get back Tyro. Everyone will have taken 2,000 damage. Lightning should be broken. So yeah, everything that we're doing right now is on the stack. So Pandemonium was cast. We did 2,000 damage, reactivated our Tyro. So Diabolos is still on the stack to break lightning and reactivate. I think he said activate backups. Or did he say forward? Oh no, we have the Aegis. Oh dear, it says when this forward is put from the break zone when this forward is put from the field to the break zone, play this forward from the break zone onto the field. Dull. My goodness, you know what that means. This lightning's going to break to Diabolos, but Ovelia is going to protect it with the Aegis. So it will go away, and then he will get his cards back. And then she will return. And it looks like as opposed to... We're not actually going to remove the Paul and the Fina. We're going to remove our own Thancred and Ovelia. Interesting. I wonder why we didn't just scoot the Paul and the Fina out of the way. Okay, Diabolos is done. I mean, we've only got 2 cards left in hand for Shivan. Like, did we have a combo? Do we have something? I mean, this is where we need that, like, Shinzen Tetsuken from an Odin that just breaks all damaged forwards. That would be pretty incredible right now because, yeah, just what do we follow this up with? We still are facing down a board that's just going to knock us out on the next turn. I wonder if... I mean, he should still get back his... Okay, yeah, we got back Citra and Axstar, so now we'll have 4 in hand. Axstar can trigger... I mean, we can break a guy. We can get a summon back. We can have haste. I don't think that's going to be very helpful here. So I feel like Axstar now has to come down. We're going to break... Who do you break? I mean, I almost feel like you got to break Rain, right? Or Beatrix. The Lightning, at this point, because of what he did, he chose his own guys. And maybe that's why he didn't choose to remove Paul and Dark Fina. He said, well, you know, if he just brings down that Axstar and triggers the Odin, breaks the Lightning, he'll just get him right back. Even then, I don't think that would be enough. I feel like his board is too big at this point. But this way, if he does choose to Odin the Lightning, he's just going to get back Thancred and Ovelia. We've taken another 2,000. We must have cast Pandemonium twice. Forgive me, folks, for not having this line exactly in play, but one, I'm not hearing what they're saying to each other. I'm just seeing like the lines and the numbers played, and that was rather complicated. So we've done our flicker. Here comes Citra. We'll get back another summon. Gonna get Pandemonia a third time. And we can kill Beatrix and Dicedarg with this, or Zalbag. It is Dicedarg. I always get those mixed up. Choose an although when he goes, I mean, he's gonna take out Paul or Citra. So that's not great. I mean, yeah, we're gonna shrink our opponent's board by 2, but and again, this rain, or maybe then that's when we just drop the Axstar and plop the rain, and that way we'll only have Jurgen and Lightning, and we can survive through that. We're moving on to combat. Here comes Paul. We're going to take this hit. We've got nothing left to stop it. Sarah's going to get hit into our damage. Paul is going to, like he's counting dollar bills, he's just going to add 5 more to that. What did we get milled into the break zone here? We lost Behemoth K. That would have been nice. Another Lightning, a Sarah, an Ovalia. That's unfortunate. Another Cuchulainn, the Impure. Really getting a lot of summons hit in there. Luckily, the Lightning and the Sarah would have been dead cards, but Ovalia could have been nice, and Behemoth K is always nice. All right, so Paul did his job. Now, the good news is this does protect Paul from Dicedarg. He can still blast Citra, although we can protect it with Tyro, actually, if we want to. Do we have enough CP for that? If we dump our hand, we can still get Axstar down. Oh, no, he's just conceding. GG. Oh, man, and he's just going to concede. Oh, it looks like... Okay, so Shivan was saying he misread Pandemonium. I think he was expecting it to do 4k damage to the board, which only happens when our opponent is on 5 damage. And so, yeah, because that would have been huge. If it did 8k to the board, only Lightning would have been left. So he just went ahead and... I mean, technically, if he dropped the Axstar and broke the Lightning, I mean, I don't know. Then it just depends on what our opponent draws at that point. And we have the rain, so the rain makes it so we're just going to automatically win any combat we have. So maybe he just accepted that he just didn't even want to play it out. He might have been able to survive one more turn, but then it would have been one of those, unless again he drew Shantoto, chances are he was probably just going to be out of it at that point. Yeah, so that's unfortunate. I think we were expecting our Pandemonium to do 4k to the board, and sadly it doesn't do that till our opponent's on 5 damage. I've seen a lot of people actually get confused with those Opus 11 summons, in particular with the new summons we got in Opus 13, because those are all, hey, when you're on damage 5, you know, cost reduction or do whatever, and the Opus 11 ones are all, hey, when they're on damage 5, now you get this extra effect. So Shivan says, okay, let's do what I'm good at. We pitch to Paul for a Paul. Cecil's going to get us Cosmos. Noble Eyes for haste, but he's just going to drop him turn 1, say, all right, are you ready for the Paul power? Cracks the knuckles. Oh, man, and Princess on Parade, baby. We opened up all 3 Princess Sarah. How about that? Well, that's, you know, that's really what you want. You know, 2 cards that you won't be using again after that to play the 3rd copy of it. I mean, that's a great opening. And then now you go get this other princess. We'll throw out Exodus to... What are we doing with Exodus? And a Ramza. Is this going to be our... No! Kuja says, oh, Mr. Paul, I don't think so. Goodbye. Yeah, you're gone. And then we're going to take a point of damage. Cuchulainn the Impure. And we can still just make our Kuja lose power and draw. Wow. Ace Race is having none of these Paul games, baby. It's like, no, I don't think so. And we've just got a hard pass from Shivan there. That is unfortunate. 4 in hand. He's only got Cosmos down. Probably didn't have anything. Follow-up was just hoping for that aggression, Paul. We got a Kuja. Do we have any summons to pull back? Nope. Doesn't look like it. Man, Ace Race is just putting on a clinic here right now. I mean, just legit everything is going his way. Opens with 3 Sarahs. Gets to pitch 2 to put down the other one. Gets his Princess Sarah. Has that Kuja in hand to immediately answer that Paul, to trigger his own EX burst, to let him draw a card. Like, I mean, man, I've been proven wrong before, but it's going to be tough to see Shivan stabilize from this. Now, he's got all those summons in there, but Paul's almost out of the equation at this point. We've already got 2 in our break zone. I mean, we know we have Kuseth, so chance we can get it out later, but I don't think we're going to be very easily milling our opponent at this point, so... He probably wants to set up either a defense against Kuja or just... I mean, he's still only on 1 damage. So if I were him, obviously I can't see his hand, so who knows what he's got in there. But if he has backups, I would take this moment to just ramp up backups. You're going to then have extra CP to play the future turns. It's not, you're not so committed to aggression at this point that you got to go all in on it. It's still early, so let's see what he decides to do. Axstar, trigger the Porum, get back in Odin. Not bad. Really says that Axstar, enter the field, draw a card. Well, not draw a card, but get one back from the break zone. Not terrible. And Axstar is on equal footing with Kuja, so if Kuja wants to swing in, we'll trade, unless the Sarah was made water. Sarah was made water, so we could always... Well, no, not Kuja. Yeah, Sarah was made water, so we're not going to be able to buff that Kuja out of range either. Here comes Lady Beatrix. He said that he was using the ability of Beatrix, but he went into attack. Oh, goodness. There's Odin. Odin, timely as ever, just, I've got you, sir. Shomzen Setsuken. Beatrix will depart as quickly as she arrived. He didn't play anything else, so I don't know if declaring the ability was a mistake or not. Interesting, too, he chose the Beatrix. I guess he just didn't want to get that continued value because there's another Beatrix in the damage. Man, that Odin might be our key to turning this around. Yeah, I guess the Beatrix is the more continued value, whereas Kuja's done his job, so I guess he's not feeling too threatened off that. Still only got one backup, and here comes a Citra. We're going to get that Odin back again. We are keeping a good hand size, which is nice. We've got 5 in hand. Still a little worried being only on one backup. The good news is it's Cosmos, so we're not going to be worried about colors. We'll be able to play whatever we want, but... Here comes Kuja. Easily will swing over Citra. There's our Unai. I wonder how much we would have loved to see that right now. Now, Ace Race has 7 in hand, so surely he's going to play something else out. This would be a good time to curve into more backups. We could really use some lightning CP right now. He is lacking that as he opted to make Sarah a water card. We've got our Ovelia back out. We finally got to see Aegis off this Ovelia. Still haven't gotten to see her first effect, where a tactics character dies and then she'll get to draw. We would have seen it last game if we'd played out with the... What was it? The dice? Dice Darg. I always mix up him and Zalbag. Citra's going right in. Oh, and a little return Odin action. This Odin says, you're not the only one who can cleave. See ya, Axstar. And just cuts Axstar in half. And now Shivan is in the other position. He's got 7 in hand after he's hitting Odin EX burst. Here comes our last Paul. He's keeping a high hand size, but man, I wonder if he's just not drawing backups. Either he's purposely choosing not to go into them, or he just isn't drawing them. So we've got 2 Beatrix down. Kuja's already on the field. Oh, are we responding something? End of turn. Kukulane the Impure. We're just going to blank Paul. Probably not. Yeah, we probably just wanted to draw a card with that spare CP. Okay. Now what do we do here? We definitely still need lightning CP. We've got the backup advantage over our opponent. That's good. We've got 7 in hand. So surely we can do something. We really don't want to let this Paul hit us. And we need to push the board state a little, though, because we don't just want to swing in with Kuja and put out a backup and stop. We're going to get hit twice, go to 5 damage. Paul is going to rip 5 cards out of our deck. That is not what we want. So we need a way to either stall Paul, remove him right off the board, remove Citra at the bare minimum. Getting some lightning CP down wouldn't hurt either, as right now he's just going to have to cast any lightning cards he has straight from hand. Okay, talk about a zap. We are going Thundaga. All those shocks are coming out. We're pitching 2 lightning cards from hand and a Kuja. So we will choose up to 2 forwards opponent controls, deal them 2,000 damage, then deal 5,000 to all damage forwards. That will clean our board. Doesn't even require Kuja to dull, so he's going to come in for an attack. Awesome. Although there's good old Tyro. Come on, Tyro. And he's going to go fetch us out whatever forward we want from the deck. Man, I think that might be the first time I've gotten to see Thundaga go off. That's pretty sweet. The only unfortunate part of that is we had to overpay. We didn't even tap backups for that. Man, we really need a lightning backup right now. I wonder if Ace Race is regretting not making this Sarah lightning at this point. That would have solved all our problems. We could have just tapped that and pitched a single one of these cards. But Was not meant to be. Who did we fetch out? We fetched out Dark Cecil, which can absolutely just come down next turn, kill this Kuja. And there we're going to put our rain out. Cecil will not be able to affect that rain. Axstar would be pretty nice here too, though, because we've got an Odin, which is what I presume we would use. We've got Summon Recovery, Porum, and we've got Tyro. Paul is gone, so this is no longer a Paul match unless Kusith comes into play later. We only have a single backup. We've got 8 in hand, so we got to do something here. We really need to get rid of this rain. We don't want to risk the haste that leadership could bring next turn. Cecil will come down, clean up the Kuja, nice and easy, but this rain just says, hey, I'm always going to win combat. So are we passing after this? Man, Shivan is just not willing to commit more to the board than he feels like he has to. Still keeping 5 in hand, which is nice, but still running off of 1 backup. I'm really curious if he just hasn't seen any. I mean, we have seen 2 get hit into damage here, Unai and Tyro. But this rain's going to very easily swing over this Cecil. So we got to be careful here. Yep, go to combat. Rain's going to swing over. Cecil will go to 7,000. Rain will go to 9,000. Oh, man. Well, he's certainly getting help from the burst department. Do you trigger this, though? You're putting yourself to 6. Yeah, he just says, no, no thanks. That is not the burst I wanted right there. I'm not interested in going to 6 damage. Yeah, obviously a burst-heavy deck with Axstar and all these summons generally leads to a good amount of burst, but that is not the one we wanted to see on 5 points of damage. And there comes Lady Shantoto. Clear that board. We will clear that. Interesting he didn't opt to push damage for Cecil, but Porum is on the board, probably figured, our opponent's just going to chump block with Porum, get a summon back. We don't want that. We've already got, 1, 2, 3, 4 summons in the break zone, so let's just protect that. Shantoto's going to drop. We finally got another backup down, and we've got all the color fixing in the world, which is nice. I wonder how early we had that Shantoto, or if we drew it this turn. A little unfortunate to have to lose your own Cecil, too, but, what else was he going to do? Again, that rain's just going to swing over everything, so there we go. That is that lightning CP we have just been desperate for. And now we can start this combo. If we want, we can put down the Delusionary Knight right now, which, yep, looks like we're absolutely going to do. He's probably going to get us our other Warlock, and then we'll have another source of lightning CP for the next turn. And now we're threatening a forward again. Again, we've got the backups as Ace Race. And he's just saying, hey, Shivan, you got to answer this. I'm not just going to give you time to sit there and set up now. I'm going to keep pushing pressure with these forwards. It says, you got to do something. Axstar here would be brilliant. Bring him in, remove the knight. Now you've got the forward. He wouldn't cost anything extra. And we're on damage 5. We could go get ourselves that Brave Exvius. Is it card character? Axstar will get a character other than himself. But do we have it? We are going to tap 2. Kryle's going to come to the field. We are going to look for Odin. Which Odin? Are we getting this Odin, I think? And we are on 5 damage, which is nice, so we can just cast it for free. We've removed it. Or did our opponent have one of those Odins in the break zone? I'm assuming if our opponent had one in here, I can't remember if he had one or not. But if he had one, I feel like obviously we would take our opponent's. Just one less for him to recur. All right, so Kryle, pretty decent way. Answered it. Cast that Odin for pretty cheaply. Ace has 6 in hand, 4 backups. He's still got to be feeling good unless he starts dead drawn now. He can just, he can ramp up. He's only on 3 damage. He could take a poke from this Cryo. I don't even know if we want to attack with this Cryo. We might want to leave it up for its summon ability so we can get one of those summons out. So Ace still in complete control here. How is he going to pressure this turn? Oh, man. Here comes Agrius. I was wondering if she was in here. I guess we just hadn't seen her at all last match. She's going to come in, get both of her effects. We've got, we're not lacking for job princess here. This mannequin feels very out of place. He's just like, well, why am I here? I'm not a princess. Can we get like a little crown with flowers, a little tiara for this guy, just so he feels like he's part of the group? Great play. Agrius just comes down, gets us a card in hand, puts us back up to 5. Just spot removal for that Kryle. Man, that was like the perfect card we could have asked for there. Oh boy, Shivan putting down Unai, which is good setup if we can last a turn, but if we have any kind of haste here, I mean, this match is most likely just done right here on the spot unless we can luck into another one of those Odin bursts. Yeah, it's a shame Shivan, it took him so long to get set up like this. I wonder if we had options earlier and we just decided to try to go all in on the Paul. Oh boy, here comes rain. AceRace is going in first. What is our burst? Are we getting any help here whatsoever? No help on the burst. Do we have leadership? Oh, we don't need leadership. We've got Aegis. We're going to give Beatrix haste. Beatrix is going to go in, punch for the 7th point of damage. Folks, that's it. AceRace, living up to his name, says, nah, I'm not dealing with any of this Paul nonsense. I'm just going to push. Great job. Shivan, really neat Paul deck. Very interesting to combine it with all the summons. I wonder if that's just a way to filter, if there's like a combo here that I didn't quite get to see. Because it was really, you know, there's some interesting things, but man, that ever since that Velias Unai play on our own Paul, it just kind of felt like it was going downhill for him, and AceRace was more than content to just set up with these knights and these tactics characters. So great job from everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.